The best thing about being in post-production on CSI Miami is that as amazing and hardworking our writers produce these scripts that are just ambitious and fascinating, and they're things you've never seen before. So everything from what we can do as far as visual effects shots to how we put the story together, we're continuing to tell that story. And the story doesn't end at the script page. It's amazing opportunities to continue telling the story, and it's really gratifying. Technically, the process begins in post-production as soon as the film leaves the camera. It goes to the lab and is developed, and then goes to telecine, and that's where the initial step starts. The film is transferred to video, then it's digitized in as data, and the editors get it.
You read the script first, and you get a sense of where it's going. But the footage kind of, guides you as to how you're going to put it together visually, and you kind of go with that. You have to kind of piece it together based on what works in context, because a lot of times, somebody will see something on a monitor, and independently it's a beautiful shot, but it doesn't quite tell the story the way it should, or go together with the other shots to create a sequence properly.
The editor is the last storyteller, because a third thing emerges. You write a script, then there's something else on stage, because our actors bring so much to our scripts. They really parse them out and add to scenes and to every script and make it a different thing. The editors then take what happened on the stage, and they sometimes find a third thing. Or sometimes the story we intended, we didn't make clear.
My job is to tell the story with pictures. And in fact, this show is particularly good for that because it's not quite as dialogue-driven as a lot of shows. It's more experiential, so you're trying to be with the characters as they're discovering things, and you see it through their eyes. So it's to create that illusion of looking through their eyes, looking through their mental processes at the clues that lead them to, solve a crime. We've got a bright palette, very tropical, lots of colors, as opposed to the original CSI, which is very dark and brooding. We're much more lively and bright and in your face. And the look of the show, they use a lot of long lenses when they shoot, so there's a lot of subjective focus. Things in the background are a little out, so that gives you a very pastel sort of image, and reinforce that with the editing. Everything's to support that vision of the show.
So obviously, lots of good female laughing, having a nice relaxing time at the top, lots of group, and then they should progressively, we need the shock of the bad guy when they first get there, but I don't want to get too crazy so that when we get into the part where the girl gets shot, we have nowhere to go, kind of as far as screaming and freaking out and panicking. In the spotting session, people that attend, it's myself and associate producer Melissa. We sort of hit on things as far as color correction and that sort of thing, things to look for to either troubleshoot or emphasize, usually. And also, since she does the ADR, she tries to understand why we're adding the lines or redoing lines and that sort of thing.
Well, it really begins at the dailies stage, where we transfer the film every night as the episode is being shot. If there's problems with dailies, the assistant editors come to me. I try to fix the problems or have our post facility fix the problem. We're looking for any kind of video problems that maybe need fixing, or film problems, visual effects, sound effects, loop lines, all that kind of stuff. And we all talk about it in those sessions and then try to figure out what the best plan of attack is and where we go from there.
Melissa, you know how the big question yesterday of the one actual scripted line, we're pulling out that O or whatever she does. Do we want to replace it, or do we not need anything there?
Let's just get something.
There's something in there?
Yeah.
Okay. Greg, 01-5222. It'll be 1008 Baker.
ADR is automated dialogue replacement. It's also known as looping. And Tim, our sound supervisor, he also collaborates on the ADR, and then he helps to guide our editors as far as sound and dialogue. Sort of the environments we're trying to create or story points we're trying to make.
And so ADR is an opportunity to replace that and make sure that all of the dialogue is actually heard and clear.
My responsibility basically to find out what the producers and everyone is looking for, what they want the show to sound like, to talk to my various editors, give them the notes after we spot, go through and see what ADR needs to be done, sort of take everything and put it together.
Delco, 127, take 7.
Witnesses said the shooter stood about 5 feet from the others. If he was standing that far away, he wouldn't get hit by pepper spray.
Then our composers, their ultimate goal and the tool that they really provide is aiding us in getting our story across, where, if it needs to be a tension moment, or if it needs to be a mysterious moment, or it needs to be a heartfelt moment, or an emotional moment, they're key in getting those points across.
Yeah, for us it starts a little bit later. Once the show's in a rough cut already, we'll come in and spot the show and kind of talk about what emotions they're going for and what scenes and, what this episode's about, if there's something specific.
And where the music goes, that's a big part of the spotting session. Whether there should be music in a scene or whether it should play dry with sound effects. And also, like Jeff said, what the emotion should be.
1012, take 1.
I did see it, okay.
As far as Foley and sound design goes, it's everything from creating a real, true environment, something where if you're out in, say, a restaurant, it's plates down and it's silverware movement and that sort of thing, to our extras or background artists have to pantomime all of their motions and that sort of thing so we can fill in the sounds that they would do, whether it's voices or movement, to, more specific hard effects.
Well, first off, we have another crew that works in the daytime, and they do all the footsteps. They take care of all the cloth movement, which familiarizes them with the characters and what they're doing in the show. And then in the second shift, which is mine and James' shift, we come in at night and we take care of all the hand props and beyond. It's all the little tinky stuff from bone breaks, glass tinks, glass breaks, little squirts from all their implements and tools. Some of our favorite stuff is the gore. But normally the process is, we just start right from the intro and work our way through and handle all the props that is cued out by the supervisor. We tend to sweeten them a lot of times, just to get that dramatic effect.
You robbed a spa this morning, Billy.
The final mix is actually the last opportunity to make sure that that story is being told. Everything from emotionally to suspense to visually. Are we supporting them with sound to make sure that they are telling the story? It's 2 days to do. Our mixers, who are amazing, Bill and Yuri, they do their first pass and make sure all of the elements are in, and our sound supervisor, Tim, sort of oversees the whole situation and makes sure that anything that was addressed in the spotting session gets executed on the stage, anything that we're sort of in love with and helps us tell the story and that sort of thing. And really to put it all together and have the score emotionally be satisfying and get us to the point that we need to as far as story goes. And then, sound effects, if it's a matter of adding something to really sell it or take stuff away to simplify it to make sure that you hear exactly what that story point is.
There's a lot of music in the show. There's a lot of effects in the show. This show gives a lot of opportunities to sort of shine with the sound, giving the mixers an opportunity to make the production dialogue and the ADR sound seamless, because ADR jumping out at you can be really distracting. Getting the sound effects to sound good, but not step on the dialogue, getting the music to play in right, but not be on top of the dialogue, but still provide the mood for the scene. It's tough to get a balance of all the elements together.
Every episode brings its own challenges, so that's always fun, and that's what keeps the job exciting, is that there's always obstacles to overcome and figure out how the best way to execute the problem or to, solve the problem.
It is fun because we always start off with a big bang. In our teasers, we always have a crime of some type that's usually pretty spectacular. In fact, it's a real nod to the producers of this show that they're able to have that high a production value and that much action on a TV budget and schedule. I'm always amazed that, it's a fire in the Everglades or the crash of an airplane or, big things that you normally don't see on the small screen. And they manage to make it work.
Our show, CSI Miami, I'm just so proud of, on a weekly basis. It's such an ambitious show, and our appetites are never satisfied. And every week, it's unbelievable what our crew produces. And then we get into the cutting room, and it's just, keep telling that story. Every step is an opportunity to make these unbelievable shows just, blow your mind every week.